Yo, guys, what's going on? Coach Jamie here, and I am so excited to have you here listening to my podcast, Make Time for Your Mind with Coach Jamie, where we will be talking about all things mindset, vulnerability, personal development, ways we can become better individuals. And sometimes in that process, we'll get heavy, sometimes we'll have fun, and sometimes I will be challenging your perspective. The goal, no matter what, though, is to leave you better than you were before you tuned in. So, with that being said, let's dive in. What's going on, everybody? I am super excited for today because although everything we talk about is mindset and me challenging you, I think occasionally it's good to come up for air and not always have to be about some sense of deep mental work that needs to happen. And this topic is something that's just very, very big to me. One, it's because I run my own business, but also I am such a social person and I love helping other people. But I want to talk about networking today. Because fun fact, I'm actually working on a book right now on this very subject because I've got a lot of experience in networking. I've worked for myself since I graduated high school. And so I've had to learn how to network because that's how I had to build my business. And I changed to a lot of different types of careers within building businesses. So I've had to, again, learn how to do that. And along the way, I definitely learned of what not to do. And I've also been a part of at least 30 different networking groups, paid or unpaid ones, to be a member of. I've been to so many different networking events and I've done so many one-on-one coffee meetings and connections. So I feel like I have a decent amount of expertise in networking. I not to toot my own horn, but I like to consider myself a serial networker and I am very good at it. I actually just mentioned this to a friend the other day. Like, I think I easily give out at least 30 referrals a week. So, I don't want to treat all of this as like an end all be all because everybody has their own particular style and everybody has different industries that they're in and personality types in what works for you. And also at the end of the day, what your ulterior motive is at its core when it comes to the networking that you're doing. So for me, this is very much going to be my perspective, which I feel like a lot of people will say they agree with, but they don't actually live that out or are really coming from this place when they do it. And I used to be one of those people too. So I want you to know and hear me when I say all of that. So I kind of want to share a couple of the things that I don't like about the way people network. And then I hopefully can also give feedback and ideas on ways that you can show up when you go out and network. One of the very biggest ones that grinds my gears is I hate the question, what do you do? A lot of people might be like, well, Jamie, what are you talking about? Like, that's kind of the point. Like, I need to know what you do so I could send referrals to you. And if I even want to get to know you, right? Okay, cool. Yes, at some point, it's obviously going to be important to know what it is that I do. But I think that doesn't matter if you don't actually care who the person is. Okay? Because we live in a world where, like, if you need a realtor, if you need an insurance agent, if you need a coach, right? If you need a hairstylist, anything you need, you can Google it. You can ask people on your Facebook. You can ask different Facebook groups that you could be in, right? You could ask a friend if they know somebody. Like, it is so easy for us to be able to find someone somewhere that does what it is that you're looking for. If I don't care who you are as a person, what you do is irrelevant to me because the intention of networking, yes, is if you're showing up there, it's probably because maybe you're needing to hire somebody. Maybe it's because you're needing to build your business. You need clients, whatever. Yes, there is going to be that layer to it that you want to know if they're a fit for what it is that you do. But also in networking, that's where a lot of people fall short, is that they're so concerned about themselves and the business that they're going to bring into them that they aren't even actually willing to listen or hear what anybody else is saying when they're walking into that networking meeting. So I guess before we go deeper into the what do you do, let's even start there. What is your intention when you're walking into a networking, again, whether it's a call, whether it's an event, whether it's even a one-to-one interaction on how to do business with somebody? Is the intention that you're set when walking in? Are you having an expectation that this person is going to be able to fulfill X, Y, Z for you? Or are you genuinely open to like, I want to get to know who this person is, ask questions to even see how this connection can be the most beneficial? Gary Vee talked about this a while back, where it's like the jab, jab, right hook. And I also am a big believer of that too. It is proven to be very, very fruitful for me. I do not have it in me to ever ask somebody something that can benefit me until I know I can add value to them. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's my thing. I feel weird. I don't like just asking somebody for something. I want to know that I'm able to support them in some way first. So what I encourage you to do is, again, whether it's an event or it's a one-on-one interaction, is have an intention of just being open-minded to genuinely get to know the person, their character, what they like to do, because also in those conversations, not only are you building rapport, but you're getting to know really who that person is. Because if you don't like who they are as a person, would you really want to take them on as a client? Would you really want to hire them? Would you really want to refer them to your connections if you don't like who they are? And then on the flip side, would you really want to put your reputation on the line to be referring that person to other people if because then that's going to make you look bad, right? If you're like, hey, I just want this person to do business with me, so I'm going to send them to so-and-so, like now that makes you look bad if that person doesn't hold up to their character because you just wanted something out of it, which I guess, and then also kind of should allow you to make time for your mind and check yourself internally on your character, if you want me to be honest. But nonetheless, back to this. So it's like, I think what's more important than anything is to know who somebody is before even finding out what it is that they do. So ways that you could do this is genuinely when you walk into an event is, hey, how did you hear about this event? Or did you like come here by yourself? Or how long have you been attending this event? Like what brought you to this event, right? Like finding a way to just gear up a conversation that way, or if it's like a one-to-one thing. And this is also just in general, like a personal preference, because I love hearing people's stories. But the question, well, it's not really a question, it's an open statement of like, I want to hear your story. And I leave it open to them. Like whatever is meaningful for you to share about your story, go right ahead. Maybe they will talk about their personal life. Maybe they'll only talk about their professional life, but it gives them the opportunity to just share who they are. Maybe you can find some commonalities that you have or get curious about that. Or maybe their story is also the very reason why they're passionate enough to be doing what they're doing, which again is building that sense of reputation behind what it is that they do. And they're also feeling comfortable with you, that you actually give a crap to want to get to know them and who they are. And now they're more likely to want to ask you that in return. And that's where a solid relationship can form. Which in networking I think is super important, because like I remember when I was living in Ohio, it was like that was definitely necessary. Like trust was everything. Building and finding your ride or die people was super important. When I moved to New York, it was anyone and everyone was handing you a business card and everything was super transactional, and I didn't do well with that. Like everything was like, I loved the fast paced aspect of it, but it was like, I want the people that I do business with to genuinely be people that like I would be friends with. Because especially if you run your own business, like that's your baby. Like your reputation is on the line with who you're interacting with. So why wouldn't you want to make sure that they were good people? And if they were good people that you jived with, you would probably want to talk to them on a regular basis, right? So again, find out who the person is before being super engaged with what they do. Secondly, I personally hate the elevator pitches. Cool. You mastered some clever way of saying what you do. But maybe you could even find a way to engage it to like pertain it to something to me or somebody that I know. I am a big believer in asking more questions. Give value and ask questions. Stay open, be curious. These are all things that have served very, very well, I think, for at least me in my networking. I'm a big believer that do good and good will follow. And so people remember you for genuinely caring about them. And then now they're in return going to, one, want to do something for you, or they're going to keep you top of mind because your character proved that you were a good person and you were trustworthy in what it is that you were doing, which means they are now more interested in learning about your expertise. And then maybe that could be a fit. Other reason why, like I say, that you should always go into these type of meetings open-minded is because you never know what that connection could be. There have been times that I have walked into a meeting and I was like, it's because I need clients and I want this person to be my client. And I was so focused on trying to figure out the problems in that person to make them a client that I didn't even actually truly get to know them just open-endedly to know what type of people they could be connected to and what those relationships could lead to. So keep that in mind too, is that more times than not, if you fixate on a particular way you think that person's going to serve you, you could be walking away from a really valuable relationship for multiple reasons. So these are tons of things that are hopefully going to be helpful for you on networking. This might actually end up being one of my longest episodes because I usually keep these short, but this clearly is a topic that I could go on for 4 days. The final thing that I do want to mention that I think is super important is your follow-up. And you probably do hear this all the time, but I take a lot of pride that my follow-up game is strong. Whether it is somebody who's sending me a referral and me following up with those people right away, or if it's the flip side, if I make a connection for somebody by sending a referral or by meeting somebody at an event, I'm going to follow up right away. Hey, it was great meeting you at XYZ. I loved our conversation on this. Would love the opportunity to schedule a virtual coffee with you and see more about how we could benefit one another's networks or just get to know one another right away. If I send a referral, I will even follow up a couple days later. Hey, have you guys had a chance to schedule something? I just want to make sure you guys had a chance to meet, or how did it go when you guys did finally meet? Make sure you follow up with people because we are all busy. We all get trapped into other things. And there's plenty of like research things that have even said that on average, it's going to take 7 touches before somebody actually moves forward with something, whether that's becoming a client or doing whatever. So make sure you are staying consistent with your people because we are all busy. So if these connections, again, checking your character, if you genuinely care about, why would you only talk to them one time and never talk to them again? Like, go ahead and get something set on the calendar. If it's somebody who I jive with super well on a one-on-one call, I'm literally like, okay, before we jump off this call, we're scheduling our next meeting because otherwise life's going to happen and we're not going to get it on the books. So let's just do it now. Follow up no matter what. So I guess my 3 takeaways to sum this all up, and if you guys ever want more info or if you want me to do more episodes on this, I'm more than happy to. But I don't want to do information overload. So the 3 main takeaways, I guess, that I would leave you with today is, one, first and foremost, who you are is more important than what you do. So 1, make sure you are showing up and you're representing who you are over what it is that you do, and you're being more concerned with who somebody is than what they do. 2, give before you ask. Always be willing to figure out a way that you can give value to somebody before you ever ask for it in return. Even if that's another networking event, a podcast, a book, somebody that you think would be a great connection for them, even if it isn't in the form of a referral in that way. That would be my second one. And my third, always follow up. Okay. So I want to challenge you, if you are somebody who is new to networking, or even if you're networking already, I want you to take one of these and be more intentional with it. I'm not saying that you don't know what you're doing when you're networking, but I guarantee a lot of times you end up just going through the motions and showing up because it's what you have to do, or it's because you're tunnel vision because of the fact that you need something, which is why you're probably attending the networking event. So pick one of those, give it a shot, and I would love to know how that goes for you. With love and accountability, Coach Jamie out.